Hello, here's the news at this hour on Tstv. I am Mobola Batekale. Here are some major headlines. Federal government to acquire 720,000 hectares in state for AGRIC. Oyo government sues bank, hotels, companies for not paying land use charges. Somalia sacks foreign minister. And in the water sport, North Macedonia secures historic qualification for Euro 2020. And now the news in details. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Sabo Nanono, has said on Thursday that the federal government is currently acquiring more than 720,000 hectares of land from various states for agricultural use. Nanono said this at a meeting with Chief Executive of Parastatals and top management officials of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in Abuja. He said his ministry was securing between 20,000 and 100,000 hectares of land in each state for the purpose of promoting the country's agriculture sector. At 20,000 hectares per state, the federal government will be acquiring a total of 720,000 hectares from all 36 states. The federal government on Thursday reaffirmed its commitment to reduce the prevalence of cervical cancer by endorsing the global strategy for the elimination of cervical cancer by the World Health Organization (WHO). It said in line with the WHO 2030 target of eliminating cervical cancer, it would ensure 90% human papilloma virus (HPV) vaccination coverage and 70% screening coverage and 90% access to treatment for cervical cancer and palliative care. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sagir Haneris, made this known during the lighting up of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency (NPHCDA) office in Abuja to commemorate this year's World Cancer Day with focus on cervical cancer. Newspaper vendors in the Federal Capital Territory on Friday protested the killing of their colleague Ifeanyi Elechi, who was shot dead on Thursday by a security aide to the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. The vendors, who were carrying placards, demanded justice, insisting that the errant operative, who is believed to be a Department of State Service operative, must be brought to book. Gbajabiamila has issued a statement expressing regrets over the tragedy and announcing the suspension of the officer involved. He said he was not aware of the incident until much later, adding that he was gutted by the killing. Our correspondent learned that the shooting incident happened when Elechi and other street vendors selling on the Sheushagari Way 3 Arms zone flocked around the convoy of the Speaker, who was said to be in the habit of giving out money anytime he passed them. The victim was inexplicably shot in the head and died at the National Hospital. Chairman of Newspapers Vendors Association in FCT, Etim Eteng, said the association would not allow the matter to be swept under the carpet. According to him, the vendor's death was not the result of accidental gunfire or stray bullets, noting that it was shot point blank by the unidentified security officer, stressing that there were witnesses at the scene. 6 hotels, 4 commercial banks, 3 filling stations, and 7 companies were on Thursday shut by Oyo state government for defaulting from paying the state land use charges. In line with Oyo state government's land use charges revenue demand bill, the state enforcement team sealed off these hospitality and financial institutions who have failed to pay the required tax even after several reminders and discounts offered by the Oyo state government. Speaking with newsmen after the exercise, the chairman of the State Board of Internal Revenue, RMO John Adeleke, said the exercise was targeted at urging the state businesses to be alive to their responsibilities to enable government provide security, infrastructure, and other essentials necessary to make businesses thrive. He therefore appealed to them to pay all taxes, levies, and bills to government because there would be no economic growth when all taxpayers are not thriving in the businesses. Oyo State Universal Basic Education Board, Oyo SUBEB, has taken delivery of instructional learning materials, students' edition textbook for the global SDGs, ICT materials, and sporting facilities for public schools donated by Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Speaking at this presentation today are the board's car park, the senior special assistant on Sustainable Development Goals to Governor Sheyi Makinde, Mr. Kule Yusuf MON, noted that Oyo Suburb has contributed immensely to basic education in Nigeria. The SSA on SDGs further urged teachers to include the books in school curricula so as to catch them young on the essence of 17 global goals of SDGs, adding that the materials will aid relevant and sustainable skills with the use of up-to-date instructional materials in public schools in Nigeria. The Executive Chairman, Oyo State Universal Basic Education Board, Dr. Nurini Adenirowa, thanking SDGs, noted that the Universal Basic Education Program guarantees a qualitative education that ensures acquisition of relevant and sustainable skills. The news on Tstv will be back right after this. Welcome back, and after some foreign stories, Somali Prime Minister Mohammed Hussein Rabul has sacked Foreign Affairs Minister Ahmed Isse Awad hours after a row over Mogadishu's position on Ethiopia-Tigray conflict. The sacked minister was named as an ambassador, the report added, but he tweeted that he was not currently ready for any position as an ambassador or any other. The verified Twitter account of the Office of the Prime Minister announced the appointment, but did not explain why Mr. Awad was sacked. Meanwhile, on Thursday, Mr. Awad posted a tweet on his account denying that Somalia has issued any official statement on the Ethiopia crisis, which a few hours earlier, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had issued a statement expressing support for the unity of Ethiopia. Mozambique's Finance Minister, Adriano Melin, has dismissed fears that China might seize the country's assets in case of a payment default for Chinese loans. The minister told lawmaker on Thursday that the fears were groundless, adding that Mozambique's debt to China had so far respected parameters agreed between the countries. The vast majority of the debt, about $1.97 billion, is owed to Chinese Exim Bank, which financed major infrastructure projects, including the Maputo Ring Road and the suspension bridge over the Bay of Maputo. The minister, however, added that the projects would eventually pay for themselves through toll gates, but opposition MP Venancio Mondlane challenged the minister's optimism, suggesting that it would take 75 years to pay off the debt for the building of the bridge following the current rate of toll collection. And finally, to the exciting world of sport, North Macedonia will go to a major tournament for the first time in their history after a Goran Pandev goal gave the Balkan nation a 1-0 win away to Georgia in the Euro 2020 qualifying playoff final on Thursday. Pandev scored the only goal of the game in the 56th minute in Tbilisi, allowing the country, who sits 65th in FIFA's world rankings, to secure their place in the finals of the postponed European Championship, which is now set to go ahead in June and July next year. They will go into Group C of the finals alongside former winners, the Netherlands, Austria, and Ukraine. They're scheduled to make their debut against Austria in Bucharest on June 13, 2021. However, the European Championship was due to take place in June and July of this year before being postponed because of the coronavirus pandemic, and it is set to be played in 12 cities across the continent, with the semi-finals and final at Wembley in London. Pep Guardiola has ended speculation over his Manchester City future after signing a 2-year contract extension on Thursday. Guardiola was due to be out of contract at the end of the season, and it had been suggested that the Spaniard might be ready to leave City. But the 49-year-old has now agreed to stay at the Etihad Stadium until at least 2023. Former Barcelona and Bayern Munich boss, Guardiola is midway through his 5th campaign with the Premier League side, and his new deal will extend what is already his longest stay at any club. He has won 2 Premier League titles, 3 League Cups, an FA Cup with City, although winning the club's first Championship League crown has proved elusive so far. And with that, come to the end of the news. Here is a recap of the major headlines. Federal government set to acquire 720,000 hectares in states for agriculture. Oyo government seals banks, hotels, companies for not paying land use charges. Somalia sacks foreign minister. And in the water sport, you heard North Macedonia secures historic qualification for Euro 2020. Please do not forget to always adhere to COVID-19 safety measures. The news was compiled by Hope TGOK. I am Mobola Patekale. Good day and thank you for watching.